The next heading is erosional landforms of underground water. So water is also an active agent of gradation. So now we are going to learn about the erosional landforms and the depositional landforms which are created by the underground water. Most of the erosion takes place due to the process of solution. When rainwater mixes with carbon dioxide and enters into a limestone region, it dissolves and destroys much of the limestone. As a result, landforms such as Terra Rosa, Lapis, Sinkholes, Swallowholes, dolines, uvelas, polges, caves and caverns are formed. So most of the erosional landforms are formed by the underground water due to the process of solution. So how this solution happened here? When the rainwater that mixed with the carbon dioxide. So these two mixtures now enter into the limestone region. So the limestone will dissolve and it destroys much of the limestone. So as a result of this process, the following landforms are formed. Terra Rosa, Italian term for red soil. Deposition of red clay soil on the surface of earth is due to the dissolution of limestone content in rocks. The redness of the soil is due to the presence of iron oxide. Terra Rosa means it's an Italian term. The meaning of Terra Rosa is red soil. So see here, the red clay soil. Hope you know what is clay, right? So the red clay soil is deposited on the earth's surface. No. So how this red clay soil is visible outside? How it is deposited? Because the limestone content which is present in the rocks. So see here, these are like rocks, no? So the limestone content which is present in the rocks are diluted by the underground water. So the remaining red clay soil is deposited on the earth's surface. So this is known as the landform which is named as Terra Rosa. So how this redness of soil is present? Because in the soil there is a presence of iron oxide. So due to iron oxide, it is red in color. Lapis. When the joints of limestone rocks are corrugated by underground water, long furrows are formed and these are called lapis. See here, if this is the joint of a limestone rocks, so these joints are corrugated by groundwater. Corrugated means the groundwater will go inside these joints and then it is eroded the joints. So the long furrows are formed. So these are called lapis. So the joints of limestone rocks are corrugated by groundwater. So long furrows are formed. These are called lapis.
These are lapis.
Sinkhole. A funnel-shaped depressions formed due to dissolution of limestone rock is called sinkholes. Their average depth ranges between 3 and 9 meters. So we have already seen that the structures is made by the groundwater in the limestone regions. So the limestone rock is dissolved by the underground water. So there is a depression which is similar to funnel shape. It is formed there and it is known as sinkholes. Their average depth is ranges between 3 to 9 meters. So the limestone rock is dissolved by the underground water. So a funnel shaped depression is formed. It is known as sinkholes. Caves and caverns. Caves and caverns are subterranean features of karst topography. Caves are hollows that are formed by the dissolution of limestone rocks when carbon dioxide in air turns into carbonic acid after its reaction with water. They vary in size and shape. Caverns are the caves with irregular flows. For example, Guptan caves in western Bihar. All types of deposits in the caves and caverns are collectively called speleotherms, which includes travertines, tufa, dripstones. Swallowholes, uvulars, dolines, polges or other erosional features of karst regions predominant in other parts of the world. So now we are going to learn about the formation of caves and caverns which are formed in the limestone region. So how these caves and caverns are formed? So the carbon dioxide, we know this is present in air, and the carbon dioxide gets reacted with water. So it turns into carbonic acid. It will forms the carbonic acid. So this thing we have learned in the heading of carbonation under the chemical weathering, right? So the carbon dioxide added with water, it creates the carbonic acid. So when this acid enter into the limestone rocks, the limestone rock will dissolute in this acid, and then these structures are formed, that is caves and caverns are formed. So they are vary in size and shape. So we know what is caves now, right? So what are caverns? So caverns are the caves with irregular flows. That is, so caverns is also the caves but with irregular means uneven flows. So for example, Guptam caves which is located in western Bihar. So these caves and caverns are called as speleotherms, so which includes the travertines, tufa and dripstone. So these are all the other landforms. So swallow holes, uvulars, dolines, so these are all the other erosional features of karst regions, so which is located in other parts of the world. So these are all the other landform structures. Now we are going to learn about the depositional landforms of underground water. It is interesting to know that a variety of depositional features are formed on the floor, ceiling and walls of the caves and caverns of the karst topography. So now we are going to learn about the landforms which is created on the floor and ceiling and also in walls of the caves and caverns. So the landforms which is created on the caves and caverns in floor, ceiling and walls. So how these landforms are created? By the deposition of underground water. Stalactite, stalagmite and column. When the water containing dissolved calcite gradually drips from the ceiling of the caves, water evaporates and the remaining calcite hangs from the ceiling, thus stalactites are formed. When the calcite deposits rises upward like a pillar, stalagmites are formed. So listen here. So this is a cave. So the water which contains the calcite, it drips from the ceiling of the cave. Okay, it drips from the ceiling of the cave. Then the water evaporates. So the remaining calcite will hang like this. This is known as stalactite. Clear? So the water which contains the calcite, it drips from the ceiling. So the water evaporates and the calcite remains here. This landform is known as stalactite. When the calcite deposits on the ground and it rises upward, so this is known as stalagmite. So to remember it easily, stalactite means the water which contains the calcite drips from the ceiling, the water evaporates and the calcite hangs. So this is known as stalactite. So see here, T is here, no. So T means top. So from top to bottom. Okay. And stalagmite, that is G is here, no. So that is ground. Okay. From ground to upward. Clear? So stalactite and stalagmite. So when this stalactite is formed from the ceiling and the stalagmite is formed from the ground. So when these two structures joins each other, so when these two structures meet each other, it forms a column or a pillar. Is it clear? So the stalactite and stalagmite join together and form a pillar.
Stalactite, stalagmite and pillars.
Glaciers. A glacier is a large mass of ice that moves slowly over the land from its place of accumulation. It is also known as river of ice. The place of accumulation is called snowfield. The height above which there is a permanent snow cover in the higher altitude or latitude is called snow line. Higher the latitude, lower the snow line from sea level. So what is glacier? A glacier is a large mass of ice. So a large mass of ice is known as glacier. So the glacier that moves slowly from the place of accumulation. What is accumulation? A large mass of something is gathered together in a place. That is known as accumulation. That I'll repeat it again. A large mass of ice or something that is gathered together in a place is known as accumulation. So the glacier, it moves from the place of accumulation, is known as the river of ice. So it moves slowly, no? So it looks like the river of ice. The place of accumulation is called snowfield. So the place where the large mass of ice are collected together is called snowfield. The height above which there is a permanent snow cover in the higher altitude or latitude is called snow line. So in the higher altitude places and the latitude places, the snow will be permanently covered there, is known as snow line.